Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014, and this is Before the First Cup with Story and Lady Pitbull on UCY.TV. Good morning, lady.
Hey, how are you?
Wanting to sleep in bed today.
I know, I hate those days where you just don't want to get out of bed.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often to me, but I'm just having trouble keeping my eyes open today.
We had a really nice rain go through here last night. It was no lightning, no thunder, just a heavy downpour, and that was it. It was really quite nice.
I like the thunder and lightning.
Yeah, I do too, but it was just really nice. Now everything.
I love that smell.
Yeah.
Right after it rains. Oh.
Yeah, I know. That's when I got up this morning and walked out, and that's what I smelled. It was really awesome.
Yeah. I just love it. Everything's so fresh, and it just smells clean, even though I'm sure it's not with all the chemtrails spray, washed down on us and all, but it still smells like real clean.
Yeah. Things are growing, remarkable here.
Here too.
Just absolutely phenomenally. Usually I can see, the houses across the river from me, from my back, but I can't see a damn thing now. So, which is cool. I mean, I've been here 5 years, and this is the most cover that I've experienced here.
Yeah, here too. Maybe the radiation's good for the plants.
I don't know, maybe turning them into mutant leaves or something. I don't know, but it's everything's lush and green, and geez, it's interesting.
Go back to normal, and we'll have some normal weather.
Well, they haven't sprayed here in 4 days at least.
Here either.
That I've noticed.
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah, it's been at least 2 days that I've gone out, and there's been no chemtrails.
Alright, see, you know what's messed up here? What's messed up is that we're talking about them not spraying, and then that is the abnormal?
Right.
You know what I mean? That's part of the not normal anymore, because the normal has become them spraying every day. So we notice when they don't spray, which is really the normal. So, man, they just freaking shift everything around on us, don't they? It's really insidious.
I remember they stopped spraying here for about 3 months.
Wow.
And I mean, none at all. And I was writing all over the web, trying to find out if that was going on anywhere else. And I thought, wow, they're already done with this. That's cool. And then after 3 months, all of a sudden one day, they were back, and they were back in force.
Mm-hmm. That's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
Or they spray at night.
Well, yeah, especially if the moon's out, you can see them up there.
Yeah.
The trails.
Yeah, you can see the rainbow still, around the moon now.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just okay, you can see rainbows in the middle of the day, but now you can see rainbows at night too. What the hell's the deal with that? That's not normal.
Yeah. Oh, that I was waiting for the reporter from the local paper here to find out why they took to serve and protect out of the police cars.
Yeah.
And now they just say police. Well, she called me yesterday. And this is the most pitiful thing. It took a week for the police department to even get back to her with an answer. And this lieutenant called her, and he said, well, I've only been here a year, but to protect and serve, that's pretty much LA's saying. They have it on their cars. And he goes, we want to be known as a smaller community and to let people know we're working for the community. And he said something about, so on our cars we have to serve and help the community or something. And I went, what? I go, that's a bunch of bullshit. I go, no. I go, they have police real big across there. And I go, I don't know how long you've been around here, but Redding and Anderson always had to serve and protect. And she just said, well, he said that in the year he's been here, they just don't want to make people think of L.A. And I went, what? I go, why is police real big? I go, no, they're not here to serve and protect. what I see is that they're here to enforce the law, and that's it. Well, then last night, where the Walmart is where our theater is, and my roommate and I went to the show last night, and we were leaving, and there was this cop sitting, like, in the rows of parking in the parking lot, kind of back a little with just his parking lights on, and all of a sudden he jets out behind this car that's driving through the parking lot, and he's right on their butt. You know how they try and intimidate you?
Oh, yeah.
And he followed them, and then when they turned out of the parking lot, he made a U and went back and got in position again. And he was sitting there, and I swear to God, I gotta watch this. I gotta see what he's gonna do. So we went around and we parked a little ways from, he did it again to another car.
Well, sure.
And just right on their butt, followed them all the way to the end of the parking lot. And when they left, he turned around and went in position again. Now, he don't have nothing better to do. I was gonna start filming it, but we wanted to get home. But, this is to make, the community feel better and all. I don't know. I'm just not buying it. And besides, it took him a whole week to figure out an answer to get back to her.
So, what was he trying? I wonder what he was trying to do. Make somebody, like, take off?
Nervous or something. Yeah, or take off so he could chase them.
Right.
I'm thinking he's probably a rookie, anxious to give tickets or something. But he did that 3 times, and there was no other reason to do that.
If somebody does that to me, and I'm not sure if they're a cop or not, I will slam my brakes and go, what the fuck's your problem, dude? You know what I mean?
Yeah, was in a lighted area. You could tell who he was. But, I mean, what was the point? I mean, and it just picked cars at random. Like, maybe they'd get nervous and do something. But
right, that's typically what, why they do that kind of stuff. Guys like that.
And it's usually not that blatant,
Right.
I mean.
What an asshole.
Yeah.
And that's just being an asshole, plain and simple.
And the car did not have anything about the community on it. It just said police. And so I'm going to write a letter to the editor now about his answer because I ain't falling for it. That's the most ridiculous answer.
So why would he lie and say that we protect the community or whatever and that there's nothing on the side of the cop cars?
Right, just police. And on that one, our Reading police, that's a big city nearest me. They just got a new Hummer RV from over in Iraq. Great, huh?
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, it certainly is. That's now they're off-road cops.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just sick of it. And then to look on the cop cars and see that there isn't anything about community. I guess it's fine print, like in a contract. You have to get real close and read it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But, what a flimsy excuse, cause LA uses that on their cars. They don't want to give out the big city feel.
Well, you should check it out and make sure that there's what he says that is on the cop cars now. You should go tell the, then you should call the reporter and say, hey, look, what he said was written on there isn't written on there, so what's the deal? I think you need to, investigate further.
This small town, they want to investigate cops. But the way I can get it out is a letter to the editor. And, I gotta get pictures. I gotta go get pictures of, that one cop car. And that's weird because it was in an older black and white. And we haven't had black and white cop cars here in a long time. We always just had the blue and white. So I don't know if this is a rookie and he just gets the old car or what.
Old car, old attitude. I don't know. It's
weird. Who knows? But anyway, at least you finally, she followed through on it, which I was glad about. But I don't know. I got the opinion that she was believing what this cop was saying, and I just
sure.
Come on.
He's the authority figure. You are not.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I'm going to compose a letter to the editor. I just got to go get pictures first and be sure.
Yeah, make sure.
But, I mean, he said he didn't even remember when it was to protect and serve, so he must be brand new in the law force too, because it was just a year ago that they changed him all.
A year ago?
Yeah, and Reading police too did. And I don't know if this reporter never goes outside. She goes, "Oh, I didn't notice that they used to have that on there?" Everybody I talked to remembers, yeah, it used to say to protect and serve, because we used to make jokes about it. You know, to protect and serve. Sure. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I will let you know on the continuing saga.
Yeah. All right.
But anyway, I thought I'd get that out of the way.
Cool. I'm completely not. I'm completely not prepared today.
Okay. I have one that bothered me this morning.
Okay.
You know, with everything else that's going on with the VA and all these, you know, all the vets that died because of this, and the person who was in charge, what did they do? They resigned. They don't get charged with murder. They don't go to jail. He's probably gonna kick back and live very well on his pension while people died. You know, that alone just, I can't, it's
who's he?
You know, the head of
the, okay.
Yeah. And, I forget his name, but anyway, they just, you know, they say he resigned and they put someone else in his place. That's it. No jail time. He doesn't get charged because of what he did cause deaths. Well, that, you know, that's okay with them. But this man dies in Veterans Hospital after police stomped him for trying to leave. Okay, this is posted June 2nd, and it's in Loma Linda, California, when a 65-year-old veteran tried to discharge himself from a VA hospital. He received a fatal beating from police, his widow alleges in a federal lawsuit. Jonathan Montego, 65, survived the Vietnam War, but he didn't survive the Department of Veteran Affairs. His widow, Norma Montego, has come forth with a complaint against the VA describing how the beating by police caused him to die an untimely death. Mr. Montego was a dialysis patient who sought care at the VA in Loma Linda, California. However, the long wait times proved impossible for him to endure. On May 25th, after waiting 4 hours without receiving his treatment, he became frustrated and decided to leave the hospital and to go to the VA hospital in Long Beach, the complaint states. As Norma went to fetch the car, Mr. Montego was told by nurses that he may not leave. Hospital staff summoned the on-site enforcers from the Department of Veteran Affairs Police Department. They were told to physically prevent him from leaving. A few minutes later, when Norma returned, she discovered her husband was bruised and bloodied. A staff member held her up her arms and said, "All I know is he fell and had a stroke," Norma recalled. But Norma remained suspicious about how one fall could have caused so many cuts and bruises. The next day, a different nurse told Norma what really happened. According to the account, police threw Mr. Montego to the floor when he insisted on leaving. 5 officers violently restrained him during the scuffle. Monteno's head struck the floor. "I'm the one who cleaned up all the blood off his face," the nurse confessed to Norma. The nurse's version of events directly contradicted what Norma had been told the day before. "Why are they lying? What are they covering up?" asked Norma. "All these bruises, cuts, that wasn't from a fall." Mr. Montego was in no condition to explain what happened. He struggled to survive for the next 2 weeks. On June 11, 2011, he succumbed to his injuries. Norma became a widow after 44 years of marriage. Attorney Jerry Steering explained Mr. Montego's injuries after an autopsy had been performed. Somebody put enough pressure on the left side of his neck to crush the inside part of the carotid artery. It broke off into little pieces and formed the blood clot that formed the stroke that killed him. A federal lawsuit was filed in May 2014. It alleged that police assaulted Montano by tackling him to the floor, slamming his head on the floor, and kneeing and stomping on his face and neck, and otherwise brutalizing and restrain him. The agency investigated itself and declared it's clear of wrongdoing.
Of course.
Yeah, wrongdoing. I mean, this man, you don't sustain injuries like that from just falling down. But the $18 million lawsuit seeks to send a message to the VA and compensate the family for their loss. I mean, how they investigated their stuff. There's that same problem. You can't allow crooks to investigate themselves.
Well, this is how they get away with it.
This poor man, all he was going was for dialysis, and then how can they forcibly refuse you? I mean, he wasn't there for a mental problem or anything. He was there for dialysis.
Well, because once you go into a hospital, okay, and you get treated, technically,
but he hadn't treated yet.
What way? If a doctor is like, no, you cannot leave, you can get up and leave out of a hospital, but once you're there, they see that as you are under their care and that you aren't, capable of leaving out of the doors, right, out of your own. They have to discharge you officially in order for you to...
he did sign in. He was signed in.
Once you sign in, man, that's it. They consider you, and then if you leave, they have hospitals have a real hard time with that.
I know. You have to sign yourself out, or you can't sign yourself out, or
right.
Then you're mentally unstable if you try to.
Exactly. They deem you mentally unstable. And so now, with the security guards, all the doc has to say is, hey man, he's trying to leave. And then that's it. These freaking thugs are gonna do their job that they're paid for and be assholes and kill an old man.
Yeah, imagine, him and his wife, they go just to get a treatment, and he ends up dead.
Yeah, well.
I just can't fathom what she was going through. She goes to get the car, comes back and finds her husband totally all beaten and a stroke, and it's just, I don't know.
I'd be,
then they lied to her about
really
it.
Upset, man.
Oh man.
Yeah, they lied to her. Yeah, that's insane.
It is. No,
she should be suing all of those guards. I know she's suing the VA.
Individually.
She is.
No, I said she should be.
She should be, yes. That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But they're talking about $18 million. But what does that? That doesn't hurt the government at all, because that's our taxes that pay that.
Well, sure, they don't give a crap. They don't care. They don't give a rat's ass. They can be...
And what gets me, they investigated themselves and cleared themselves of any wrongdoing.
Yeah, see, this is the problem. This is the problem with the whole damn system. The whole freaking system does that, and they've been doing it for ages. Ages and ages and ages.
I know, this should prove to the guys in the military, this government does not care about you.
Well, I think that this latest thing, well, let's see, there's since we're on the story of vets, there's major doctor shortages, that's a huge problem in the VA system. Major doctor shortages. They don't get paid enough, you know what I mean? And there's such there's so many vets that just come back from all the wars that are now, and then the Vietnam War, ones that have passed, and there's so many messed up guys. It's horrible. It's so terrible. And there's there's too many patients for one doc, for each doc. It's terrible. But there's a veteran that went, Colorado VA, and he says that you owe me a leg, you bastards. So here we go. Local media stories from across the country indicate the problems with the VA medical centers are much more widespread than national media may be reporting. KKCO in Grand Junction, Colorado, ran a story detailing the plight of two veterans. One bluntly said that the VA's lack of urgency cost him his leg. Larry Wilkinson said a VA doctor never called him with the test results of a foot infection after 2 months of no news, he had to have his leg amputated. I feel the VA owes me a leg, Winkleson said. Another VA patient, Richard Worsley, said when he was showing symptoms of a heart attack, he was taken to St. Mary's even though he wanted to go to the VA medical center. Then he received a bill for more than $8,000. Paul Sweeney, spokesman for the Grand Junction VA Medical Center, told the news station that vets who had complaints could follow this procedure. 1, go to a, quote, patient advocate, unquote, and file a, quote, patient contract with them. Yeah, right. 2, if that doesn't satisfy them, they can meet with a, quote, public relations officer. Number 3, the next step is to, quote, write a letter to our chief of staff, unquote. Jeez, that's the 3 steps you guys gotta take out there.
Then you get put on this waiting list that is secret.
Right.
You know, a year or so.
Like the chief of staff is really going to open that letter. Mm-hmm. Vets are losing limbs at home while the paper pushers make them check all the bureaucratic boxes. It's outrageous. It's totally outrageous. It is absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, this is like, they're trying to push this off to the side. They don't want this in mainstream. You know, now it's about Obama releasing, trading those prisoners. It seems like they're out for anything to get this out of the news. They don't, cause this is enough to, I would think, get people upset.
I would say so. I mean, especially poking the hornet's nest at all the vets. We've said this many times.
Yeah.
Oh man, I think okay, I'm glad you guys didn't hear that. I clicked on something and the clip started playing.
I hate that. Yeah. But, I mean, we this is another thing, that needs to be kept out here because something's gotta be done besides the head of the VA just resigning. I think everyone should be calling for that man to be arrested, for manslaughter, if not first-degree murder.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. And those freaking security guards need to be arrested.
Yeah.
You know what? Those guys in their heads that beat that poor old man to death, they're gonna be thinking, shit, I can get away with this anytime I want. You know what I mean? They're gonna keep freaking doing it.
Yep. I mean, 5 of them on this man who needed dialysis, so, I mean, he's not really, super strength and healthy. 5 of them, and enough to break the carotid artery in pieces. Carotid, yeah, artery in pieces.
Yeah, that's pretty freaking, that's huge blunt force.
And then the receptionist there puts her hands up and goes, I don't know, he fell.
Shit.
God damn,
I don't know, I'd be...
When the person you love is laying there on the floor with bruises and cuts and it's just, I don't know, this has gotta stop somewhere. I mean, it's just gotta stop.
Well, the only thing that's gonna make it stop is, unfortunately, us to stand up for ourselves. And the only thing that these people are gonna listen to is blunt force.
I know, and that's scary, but...
Damn right it's scary, and this is what they want to push us into this position, and that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, and I just read an article, like the Bundy thing. Obama was thinking about sending the military in to assist the BLM.
Yeah, we've talked about this, remember?
I didn't know that he had considered sending the military in.
That was...
that must have been about a week ago or so.
It was a couple weeks ago, actually.
Yeah, I wasn't really in with it then. But, yeah, I didn't know that. You know, and then, I don't know. That doesn't upset people. I don't know. What is it going to take?
Well, they're poking the hornet's nest with these vets, especially with this this freaking hostage exchange, or this, you know what I mean, this bow thing.
And now, you know, more people, how many people did that, were those guys responsible for killing? Now he put them out there, they got a hero's welcome, and how many more people, innocent people, are going to die because of this?
I just want to read, I'm just going to read these headlines on, like, Drudge right now, because just the headlines themselves are, it really says it all. Just, you know, regardless of going into and reading the actual articles,
right? The
headlines tell it all, especially the way this dude, I really like the way this guy lays his stories out. I just think it's, I don't know, he's good at it. I don't give a rat's ass about Alex Jones and all that crap promoting Drudge. This guy is good at what he does, and he's really getting into their craws, which is what needs to happen. Screw Alex, I don't even care. So, let's see. Alright, reintegration. Military hides Bergdahl from public view. Another one says, flashback. Converted to Islam and taught captors bomb-making skills. Now, I might go in and read that one because that's it for me. New York Times, left note explaining desertion before going AWOL. Oh, now all of a sudden there's a freaking note that comes up, that props up out of freaking nowhere? Give me a...
Right.
This whole damn thing is like staged. And these headlines really illustrate that. Next one says, Pentagon knew whereabouts, but didn't risk rescue for deserter. Next one says, office never officially listed as a POW. Really? He was never officially listed. That's interesting. Charge. Soldiers died searching for him. Another one. The next one says, former Fed prosecutor. Release of Gitmo terrorists is an impeachable offense. Cheney, U.S. will pay a price. Of course. Really, Dickie? You think so? Son of a bitch. Freed Taliban leaders given a hero's welcome. Tubin, Obama clearly broke the law. 3 years since consulting Congress. It's been 3 years since Obama has consulted Congress about anything. What the hell is going on with that?
I guess they were in talks to get this guy released for 3 years is how I read it. Yeah. And the letter just now came up.
Or in other words, it's, you're right. You're right. But they had 3 years to get Congress's approval to do this. You know what I mean? Okay, so his father is saying, I'm still working to free all Guantanamo prisoners. Okay. Anger explodes, and was Hillary in on it?
Yeah, where did that come from?
Well, because she was the Secretary of Defense. Or Secretary of State. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, she definitely knew about all this going on.
Yeah,
just like Benghazi.
Yeah, this guy, I don't know, why would they trade? I mean, if they knew all along he was a traitor, why wasn't that brought up and go, well, we're not gonna, try and save a traitor?
This is the big giant stick that's really gonna, because there's a lot of vets that are pissed off about this. You know what I mean? Lots of them, especially those who served with him, are really pissed off at this guy. So, this is just taking that for real stick and literally just, cutting down the hornet's nest, and now the hornets are swarming and ready to strike it, whatever the hell, destroy their house.
It's like they want the vets to pick up arms.
Yes, absolutely. And it's the exact same for, the same damn thing for releasing those 6, Taliban guys. They want those guys to go out and commit heinous crimes. They want those, because they've had 10 years of probably solid freaking mind control and torture from our government, and then, yes, they get released into the, ether, right?
Reason for us to go back in.
And they're gonna that's exactly what's happening. And it's staged, and the CIA is completely involved, and, that's what's going on. That's what's going on. It's all designed to get, the police state going. They need an excuse to declare martial law. So, hey, you got all these criminals back out on the streets. You need a reason to stay in Afghanistan. You need you know what I mean?
Right. Well, especially Afghanistan. I mean, our heroin trade.
Absolutely.
Can't have that going down with all the money they're making.
That's correct. It's real. It's interesting that this came about. So it says, let me read this. Taliban claimed captured U.S. soldier is converted to Islam and is teaching its fighters how to make bomb-making skills. A captured Taliban soldier is training Taliban fighters bomb-making and ambush skills, according to one of his captors and Afghan intelligence officials. Really?
So they come out and talk to our government and says, yeah, he taught us how to do this.
Hang on a second. This article was from August 22nd of 2010.
Wow.
So, but this is significant because it totally connects. And and I believe I saw something too where God, who's that, jeez, I'm drawing a freaking blank, this is terrible. Alright, let me keep going with this.
Okay.
Alright, Private Bo Bergdahl disappeared in June 2009. While based in eastern Afghanistan, is thought to be the only U.S. serviceman in captivity. The 24-year-old has converted to Islam and now has the Muslim name Abdullah. One of his captors told the Sunday Times. Interesting. So this is from 2010. This is totally interesting. This sounds like a CIA thing to me. A Taliban deputy district commander in Petrika, who called himself Haji Nadim, told the newspaper that Bergdahl taught him how to dismantle a mobile phone and turn it into a remote control for a roadside bomb. Nadim claimed he also received basic ambush training from the U.S. soldier. Most of the skills he taught us we already knew, he said. Some of my comrades think he's pretending to be a Muslim to save himself so that they wouldn't behead him, or he was pretending to be a Muslim because he was a CIA asset, maybe? That was my interjection. Afghan intelligence officials also believe that Bergdahl is cooperating with the Taliban and is acting as an advisor to fighters at a base in the tribal area of Pakistan. Nadim also shed some light on how Bergdahl was captured. After the serviceman left his post in Patika Udakal district, I know I butchered that, in Afghanistan, an Afghan soldier he left with an Afghan soldier. He was spotted entering a nearby village. A group of 8 Taliban gunmen in a nearby field were alerted and ambushed the pair, killing the Afghan soldier. Bergdahl was knocked to the ground in order to strip and put on Afghan clothing. His kidnappers disposed of all of his clothing and belongings, fearing he may be bugged. The American was initially terrified that he would be beheaded, Nadim said, but has since become very relaxed in our company. In April, a harrowing video of Bergdahl pleading for his freedom was released by the Taliban. In the footage, Bergdahl said he wants to return to his family in Idaho and that the war in Afghanistan is not worth the number of lives that have been lost or wasted in prison. Yes, people, of course. You have to have a guy that's against the war and attack him, just like they did Pat Tillman, if you guys remember that. Alright. It was the first he had, let's see, hang on a second, I think I just screwed up here. In the footage, okay, it is the first, I'm sorry guys, it was the first he had been seen since the Taliban released a previous video of him at Christmas. The 7-minute video of Bergdahl shows him sporting a beard and doing a few press-ups to demonstrate he's in good physical condition. There was no way to verify when the footage was taken or if he is still alive. In the sometimes choppy video, Bergdahl talked about his love for his family, his friends, his motorcycle, and sailing. I'm a prisoner and I want to go home, he said. This war isn't worth the waste of human life that has cost both Afghanistan and the U.S. It's not worth the amount of lives that have been wasted in prisons, Guantanamo Bay, Bergam, and all those places where there are prisoners being kept. At times, speaking haltingly, as if holding back emotions, Bergdahl, clad in what appeared to be an army shirt and fatigues, clasped his hand together and pleaded, "The pain in my heart to see my family again doesn't get any smaller. Release me, please, I'm begging you, bring me home." So, there is that. So,
yeah, it's
training those guys how to make bombs, huh?
Mm-hmm. Well, when I was looking at the picture from when they got him and his face looks, like beat up. What, did our guys do that to him? I wonder, if he was over there helping them, they don't have no reason to beat on him.
Well, no, our guys didn't do that to him because he wandered off the base.
Well, yeah, but they say, their soldiers the soldiers that were in with him, were all angry at him because they said he was a traitor and, went to the other side.
Are you talking about a recent picture or something?
It was on one of those, let me see, it was, I think, let me see if it is this one. The picture, it's one of these that had a picture of him, being released and being with, our soldiers. Where is it? It was one of these that you were just reading from. Let me see. Never officially. I did. His nose was all like red, like he had. I'll find it, but go ahead.
Yeah, it just seems that if this guy at all was a CIA asset, and then look what happened last week. The whole CIA commander guy was ousted accidentally, and I just can't help thinking that they're linked. That this is linked with that, and that is linked with this in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I kind of wonder where they're going with this. They must have something in mind. First they're telling, they put it out there like, all right, we have our POW. We freed him, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day it's all about that he was a traitor. And, yeah.
It just seems to me like this whole damn thing is like, been staged, and it's just a perfect distractionary tool from the rest of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah. you know, it's, I don't know. Are they trying to antagonize, you know, all our vets to pick up arms? Because, I mean, it still bugs me. I keep going back to this, but the head of the VA that steps down, nothing is going to be done to this man. Now, why? You know, and he wasn't the only one. I mean, they said that it was well known all the way up to the White House, but yet nobody's going to jail, and these men are dead and still dying.
Okay, that would be an impeachable offense. But this other thing here, also, the release of the Gitmo terrorists is also an impeachable offense. There's a lot of other stuff. The IRS thing is an impeachable offense. I'd say that the Fast and Furious gun running thing is an impeachable offense. So I think this is like, let's see how many impeachable offenses that this son of a bitch can rack up and not pay for and not get impeached and just go out, you know, and like I said yesterday, still have Secret Service to protect him even when he's not president anymore. You know what I mean? I think it's how many can he rack up? How much of this is Congress going to allow, for one thing, and how much of this are the citizens going to take?
Right. How many things can they put right in our face and we do nothing?
Exactly. They're laughing at us. They're they're pointing and laughing at us and saying, shh, we can get away with damn near any damn thing we want to. And Obama put out more constraints on the environment and on coal plants, and it's more implementation of Agenda 21, and so there goes more jobs, and there goes more of our electricity is going to skyrocket because of these new implementations. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pay my bills next winter. You know what I mean? But this whole thing is, it's all connected, and however many offenses this guy can rack under his belt, the next president is going to be able to get away with so much more than this. You know what I mean?
Right,
because Bush got away with Clinton. Look at what Clinton got away with. The buck kind of stopped at Nixon. You know what I mean? And then there we go with Ford. God, don't even get me started on President Ford. And then Carter got away with a bunch of shit, and then Reagan got away with more shit, and then Bush got away with a ton of shit, and then it escalates with every single president we've had since Kennedy.
And because of the executive orders they are implementing now, even if, like, Obama doesn't act on them, the next president can.
Absolutely, and that's what all of this is being laid groundwork for. Bush laid the groundwork for Obama. Obama's laying the groundwork for the next guy to come in. And this is, and the more they are allowed to get away with, you know,
and the people are disgruntled with Obama, so they're not so what are they gonna elect next time? A Republican. This happens every time.
Oh, sure.
They get this one side, and then they get them so angry that they'll vote for whoever. It doesn't matter who. They'll vote for the opposite, and then they'll get in there and do worse, and then they'll vote for the opposite again when they're all in there on the same agenda.
That's right.
There is no difference.
They've been doing this forever. Forever.
Probably ever since the two parties were devised, because that was a great separation, you know, of the people.
Right. Yeah, you could be absolutely right about that. It's I don't know. This is what's going on though. And it just keeps escalating and escalating and escalating and escalating, and they're not going to pay for any of this stuff. They're not going to,
people die, it's okay.
It doesn't matter. I mean, the more that die, hey, the better off they think they are.
And you know, this investigation into Benghazi, you think that's going to go anywhere? Do you think anyone is going to go to jail over that?
No.
No?
Oh, no. And let's see what it says that Hillary was in on all this. prisoner swap. Did Hillary know? You bet your ass she knew.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Benghazi, I don't know, I'm looking at this, and I don't know if I want to read this entire frickin' thing. Oh, shit. Especially when there's clips playing in my ear. Oh, no! Oh, I hate this. And it's a clip you can't stop, either. Republicans are raising questions about whether Hillary Clinton knew about the White House plan to release senior Taliban commanders in exchange for the last U.S. prisoner of war. President Obama met with his former Secretary of State for lunch on Thursday. Oh, isn't that nice? 2 days before it was announced that Bo Bergdahl had been released from captivity in exchange for 5 high-profile Taliban prisoners. Republicans are furious at that they were not told of the deal in advance and argue this broke U.S. law. They also are suspicious that Obama may have informed Clinton, the likely Democratic front-runner for the White House in 2016. God help us all. The White House has said it will not give a readout of Obama's lunch with Clinton, calling it a private event. But that has only made Republicans more curious about the timing between the lunch and the controversial prisoner swap. If Mrs. Clinton remains politically active, people will want to know what her advice was on the subject. Oh yeah, this is a bunch of crap and I'm not going to continue to read it. But I think you got the gist of that. So yeah, she totally knew about it.
Well, and, yeah, it couldn't go on without her knowing about it, being the Secretary of State.
She's no longer Secretary of State.
Well, I know, but she was when this was going on.
Oh, right, but no, they were talking about the actual release and prisoner exchange.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that him and Hillary had lunch last Thursday, and that he may have consulted with her. Yeah, and having the president consult with somebody who's no longer in office, that's, what the hell's going on there?
It's just a mess, I mean, they keep, like we have anything to say about it. And then, I don't have a TV, so I don't know what they're putting out there on mainstream. I mean, who knows what they're putting out there as their story.
Right.
Crap. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the stories change though. Like just a few days ago, they were wondering, his big challenge was readjusting to normal life. But why would they say that if they had no intentions of letting go because they were going to call him a traitor? And so, I mean, will the guy ever see the light of day, I wonder? We hear nothing from him.
Yeah, they're probably going to keep him hidden. And they say this crap that he's trying to reacclimate to English.
Yeah, they say he doesn't speak English anymore.
That's bullshit. You know what I mean? That is complete and utter horseshit. I don't believe that for 1 second. If you had English until you were 23 years old and spoke nothing but freaking English, you're not going to have any problems communicating.
Right. You don't forget
and then you
your
learn
English
another language? What the hell is up with that? That makes me think that this dude is it just makes me think that he could have been like a mind control victim or CIA asset, or this whole damn thing is nothing but a load of freaking bunk.
A distraction, maybe?
Distraction, absolutely. Gotta get somebody, you gotta get all the public to be distracted and, talk about impeachment some more, and, I don't know, there's definitely stuff, and like I said, there could be, Michael Hastings, he wrote, I think back in 2010, he also wrote an article about this, Bergdahl guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Matter of fact, I'd like to find that damn article, and I should have done it before I got on air, but, I failed. Big, epic fail for me. But I do remember that there was, I should freaking try and find it.
Why don't you try and find it, and I'll read this other one that I
came
across. Mannequin in Obama mask hung from Missouri Bridge. Kansas City, Missouri, a fully clothed mannequin wearing a President Barack Obama mask was discovered hanging by a rope from a highway overpass in Kansas City area on Monday, police said. Interstate 70 was closed down briefly while a bomb squad investigated because sheriff's deputies saw a suspicious device attached to the mannequin, said Sergeant Rhonda Montgomery of the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. No explosives were found on the mannequin, which was discovered on a bridge about 25 miles, 40 kilometers east of Kansas City, Montgomery said. The mannequin was reported to the authorities around daybreak, and it is unclear how long it had been hanging from the structure, she said. A rope was used to string up the mannequin, but authorities were not releasing specific details, Montgomery said, adding that the incident was still under investigation. We are trying to put pieces of the puzzle together, but it's early, Montgomery said. And that's it on that story. But, you know, that kind of shows how people are feeling about this president, you know. I don't know why they want to put in a big investigation onto it, you know. It's probably people just voicing their First Amendment, you know, how they feel about their president.
Yeah, absolutely. I found it.
Okay.
Totally found it. It was in Rolling Stone. And it was, it's a pretty long freaking article. But it was June 7th of 2012. So.
Just kind of skim over it and to get the idea what it was.
Let's see. It says, I didn't even hear what you read, so I can't even comment on it.
That's okay. There was no comment. It was just a thing.
Oh, okay. Let's see. America's last prisoner of war. Like, I don't think that he's the last one. There's still some in, Korea, I'm in Vietnam, and who knows, maybe even freaking Japan, who knows. Alright. 3 years ago, a 23-year-old soldier walked off his base in Afghanistan into the hand of the Taliban. Now he's a crucial pawn in negotiations to end the war. Will the Pentagon leave a man behind? And this is by Michael Hastings. And for those who don't know who Michael Hastings was, he was a Rolling Stone writer. And, well, here he is. I'll read his thing. In 2012, fearless Rolling Stone contributing editor Michael Hastings wrote the definitive first account of Bo Bergdahl, the young American soldier who was captured by the Taliban and became the last prisoner of war. Hastings, the journalist who brought down the career of General Stanley McChrystal in these pages, died in a car accident 1 year later. Bergdahl was freed this weekend. Hastings' incredible story is available in full right here. I'm about to read it. So this is interesting. All this stuff is absolutely, I'm just interjecting my own thing here before I start. All this stuff is absolutely connected, and the CIA, has their hands in this, and it's been going on for quite some time now. And for sure the CIA freaking killed Michael Hastings, ran him off the road or planted something in his car, perhaps. So all this stuff connects people. Make those connections. Alright. The mother and father sat in a kitchen table in their Idaho farmhouse watching their son on YouTube plead for his life. The Taliban captured 26-year-old Bo Bergdahl almost 3 years ago on June 30th, 2009. And since that day, his parents, Janie and Bob, have had no contact with him. Like the rest of the world, their lone glimpses of Bo, the only American prisoner of war left in either Iraq or Afghanistan, have come through a series of propaganda videos filmed while he is in captivity. In the video, They're watching now. Bo doesn't look good. He's emaciated, maybe 30 pounds underweight, his face sunken, his eye sockets look like caves. He's wearing a scraggly beard and he's talking funny with some kind of foreign accent. Janny presses her left hand across her forehead as if shielding herself from the images on screen, her eyes filling with tears. Bob, unable to look away, hits play on the MacBook Pro for perhaps the 30th time. Over and over again, he watches his only son dressed in a ragged uniform and begs for someone to rescue him. Please, please. Release me, please, Bo screams to the camera. I'm begging you, bring me home. Private First Class Bo Bergdahl arrived in Afghanistan at the worst possible moment, just as President Barack Obama had ordered the first troop surge in the spring of 2009. There you go. Just as President Barack Obama ordered the first troop surge in the spring of 2009, after this son of a bitch promised to take our troops down in numbers. Rather than a withdrawal from a disastrous and increasingly deadly war started by his predecessor, the new commander-in-chief had decided to escalate the conflict, tripling the number of troops to 100,000 and employing a counterinsurgency strategy that had yet to demonstrate any measurable success. To many on Obama's staff who had been studying Lessons in Disaster, a book about America's failure in Vietnam, the catastrophe to come seemed almost preordained. Really, do you think? My God, his deputy national security advisor, Tom Donlin at the time, what are we getting what are we getting this guy into? Over the next 3 years, 13,000 Americans would be killed or wounded in Afghanistan, or more than during the previous 8 years of war under George W. Bush. Bo's own tour of duty in Afghanistan mirrored the larger American experience in the war, marked by tragedy, confusion, misplaced idealism, deluded thinking, and perhaps a moment of insanity. It is with Bo that the war will likely come to an end. On May 1st, in a surprise visit to Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan, President Obama, another surprise visit. He keeps doing that. In another surprise visit, Obama announced the United States will now pursue a negotiated peace with the Taliban. That peace is likely to include a prisoner swap listen to that. That peace is likely to include a prisoner swap or, quote, confidence-building measure, unquote, as U.S. officials working on negotiations call it, that would finally end the longest war in America's history. Bo is the prisoner of the Taliban. Bo is the prisoner the Taliban have to trade. Quote, it would be a huge win if Obama could bring him home, says a senior administration official familiar with the negotiations, especially in an election year, if it's handled properly. So, guys, that last line, especially in an election year, if it's handled properly.
And now this whole time they had this letter of treason. You know, anyway, it didn't just come up all of a sudden. If he left the letter when he went over to the Taliban side, then they've had the letter all along. Isn't that weird? And yet they're in negotiations and they're going to trade all these guys for this one guy that is a traitor. It just don't wash. None of it's washing.
Well, back in 2010, when this story was written, a senior administration official familiar with the negotiations said that if it was handled properly, especially in an election year, and this is an election year for, like, congressmen. So, this is a congressional election cycle here, which is exactly where we find ourselves. So, all this stuff has been planned for a long time. This whole thing, it has been, one giant plan.
And they're just waiting for the right time to bring it all up again.
Right, and this is the right time because of all the VA stuff that's been popping. They gotta have some kind of crisis, and here they've put the crisis out here again. Let me keep going, because this is a damn interesting story.
Yeah, especially since it was written so long.
Whoa, hold on to the horses. Hold right on. You know what? There are 7 freaking pages of this.
Maybe we should just put it in the
there, yeah, I'll do that right now. I just realized that there are 7 pages here. There's no way that I would.
This is Hastings, right?
Yeah, this is the Michael Hastings article right here that I'm posting in the chat room. And for those of you not in the chat room, it's the title of the. Oh man, hang on, I just clicked on something that I shouldn't have. It's from Rolling Stone magazine. It's called America's Last Prisoner of War. I'm just real curious if I'm gonna go to the. It's a good, well-written article. Obviously, from what I've read. Yeah, man. Page 7 of 7. There's 7 freaking long pages in here. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Yeah. I don't think I should keep going on, but if anybody wants to go read for themselves that whole thing, it's a well-written article. Michael Hastings was a fantastic writer. Mm-hmm. And he was killed. He was killed for telling the truth, man. He was killed for outing the general. That
article could have been written today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I bet you could get the real inside scoop, just by reading that article. It seems extremely, well researced.
Mm-hmm. Well, he was a very good reporter. He did really, and he was one of the last real journalists, I think.
Yeah. If you want to get, like, the background on this whole thing, that's the article to read right there. That's really, really interesting.
And because to most people, this is just the beginning of this. It's not that it's been going on for all these years. I mean, that's not really coming out.
Oh, look, here's something that says Bergdahl schedule for promotion.
What?
Yeah, here we go. This is Washington. This was put out yesterday. Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl was reportedly scheduled for a promotion. CNN's Barbara Starr reports that a defense official said that Bergdahl will be promoted because he has not been classified as a deserter. The official also told CNN that the Army needs her to hear from Bergdahl as to why he wandered off the base when he got captured. Well, the CIA and Bergdahl, they're probably debriefing that point right now, and they're probably mind controlling this poor kid into the story, the official story that will be released in the press.
So they're calling him a traitor and a hero all at the same time.
Well, I have a feeling that this was all CIA crap, covert crap with Bergdahl. And now Bergdahl was promoted twice after he was taken really? Check this out. Bergdahl was promoted twice after he was taken prisoner in 2009. He was promoted to the rank of specialist in June of 2010, and then sergeant in June 2011. Now, how the hell can you promote some guy that's not there to receive the promotion?
And for what? I mean, if he's a prisoner of war...
This stinks to high heaven, let me tell you right now, man. Does anybody smell a dead rat in the room? I mean, get that thing out of here. Alright.
Another form of the double speak to keep everybody...
Oh, absolutely. Here we go. Bergdahl is hospitalized at a U.S. military U.S., that's what it says, is hospitalized at a U.S. military in Germany as questions mount at home over the swap that resulted in his freedom in exchange for the release of 5 detainees who were sent to Qatar from the U.S. prison in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Even in the first hours of Bergdahl's handoff to U.S. forces in eastern Afghanistan, it was clear this would not be an uncomplicated yellow ribbon celebration. 5 terrorist suspects, who also walked free, stirring a debate over whether the exchange would heighten the risk of other Americans being snatched as bargaining chips, and whether the released detainees, several senior Taliban figures among them, would find their way back into the fight. U.S. officials said Sunday that Bergdahl's health and safety appeared in jeopardy, prompting rapid action. Had we waited and lost him, said National Security Advisor Susan Rice, I don't think anybody would have forgiven the United States government. She said he lost considerable weight and faced an acute situation. Yet she also said he appeared to be in good physical condition and is said to be walking. So, okay, which is it, assholes? You know what I mean? One official who spoke on the grounds of anonymity because the person wasn't authorized to discuss the subject by name said there were concerns about Bergdahl's mental condition and emotional as well as physical health. On Monday, a U.S. military hospital in Germany reported Bergdahl in stable condition and receiving treatment for conditions requiring hospitalization after arriving from Afghanistan. The Landstuhl Regional Medical Center said Bergdahl's treatment includes attention to dietary and nutrition needs after almost 5 years in captivity, but declined to release further details. It said there is no predetermined amount of time involved, and this damn thing just refreshed on me. Okay, now I've got to find where I was. I hate when it does that. There's, okay. Sorry, guys. Damn it. Alright. One official who spoke on the grounds of anonymity because the person wasn't authorized to discuss the subject by name said there was no concerns about, alright, on Monday, sorry, I'm keeping reading this again, he was, the Landstuhl Regional Medical Center said Bergdahl's treatment includes attention to dietary and nutrition needs after 5 years in captivity, but declined to release any further details. It said there was no predetermined amount of time involved in the reintegration process for the 28-year-old soldier. 2 officials said Monday that the Taliban have been concerned about his health as well, since the U.S. has sent the message that it would respond harshly if any harm befell him in captivity. Republicans in, you know what? I'm not going to even read that because it was John Bloody McCain and he sucks.
Yeah.
I'm not even reading that son of a bitch's quotes because screw that son of a bitch. Alright, and in Kabul on Monday, Afghan Foreign Ministry called the swap against the norms of international law. Ooh, that's interesting. And if it came against the 5 imprisoned detainees will. And let me read that again. In Kabul Monday, the Afghan Foreign Ministry called the swap, quote, against the norms of international law, unquote, if it came against the 5 imprisoned Taliban detainees will. That's interesting. The ministry said, no state can transfer another country's citizen to a third country and put restriction on their freedom. Okay, so that's interesting. Tireless campaigners for their son's freedom, Bob and Johnny Bergdahl, thanked all those who were behind the effort to retrieve him. You were not left behind, Bob Bergdahl told reporters as if speaking to his son. We are so proud of the way this was all carried out. He spoke in Boise, Idaho, wearing a long bushy beard he'd grown in honor of his son, as residents in the sergeant's hometown of Haley prepared for a homecoming celebration. The 5 detainees left Guantanamo aboard a U.S. military aircraft flying to Qatar, which has served as a go-between in the negotiations. They are to be banned from leaving Qatar for at least a year. Yeah, right. Like they're really going to listen to that? Among the 5, a Taliban deputy intelligence minister, a former Taliban interior minister with ties to the late al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden, really? A figure linked by human rights monitors to mass killings of Shiite Muslims in Afghanistan in 2000 and 2001. Yeah, really? I don't believe that either. Questions persisted too about the circumstances in Bergdahl's 2009 capture. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel declined to comment on earlier reports that the sergeant had walked away from his unit disillusioned with the war. Such matters will be dealt with later, Hagel said. But the former Pentagon official said it was incontrovertible that he walked away from his unit. The military investigation was broader than a criminal inquiry, this official said, and didn't formally accuse Bergdahl of desertion. In interviews, members of his unit portrayed him as naive, delusional person who thought he could help Afghan people by leaving his army post, the official said. Let's see. I'm almost done with this, guys. I'll keep going. 'Cause it's good to have all these little tidbits of info in order to, straighten some of this, straighten some of the lies out, maybe I should say. Questions persisted too about, let's see, alright, sorry. The former Pentagon official said, alright, I already read that too. Sorry guys. The military investigation was broader than a criminal inquiry, said this official said. It didn't formally accuse Bergdahl of desertion. In interviews, members of the unit portrayed him. I already read that. Holy sheep shit. Sorry. U.S. military and intelligence agencies have made every effort to monitor Bergdahl's location and his health, the official said, through both signals, intelligence, and a network of spies. Really? Nathan Bradley Beethra, who served as an officer in Bergdahl's unit, said in an article on Monday, the Daily Beast website, that Bergdahl was not on patrol, as some reports have suggested. There was no patrol that night, he wrote. Bergdahl was relieved from guard duty, and instead of going to sleep, he fled the outpost on foot. He deserted. I've talked to members of Bergdahl's platoon, including the last Americans to see him before his capture. I've reviewed the relevant documents. That's what happened. Hagel, visiting troops in Afghanistan, was met with silence when he told a group of them at the Brigham Air Force hangar, "This is a happy day. We got one of our own back." That's interesting. No one clapped when he said that, guys. Mm-hmm. So this is they are really trying to piss off the veterans of this country. They are really, they're doing a great job with this one here, I'll tell you that. At the White House on Monday, Press Secretary Jay Carney said the exchange was absolutely the right thing to do. In much of the same tone the president used over the weekend, he said, "The United States does not leave our men and women behind in conflict." Really? Lying sack of crap, that dude. In a situation like this, you have a prisoner of war, a uniformed military person that was detained, Carney said. Asked in NBC Today show about victory claims by the Taliban, Carney replied, "I caution anyone against buying the propaganda of terrorists." Yeah, Jay, you're the asshole terrorist here. Unbelievable. Oh my god, I had to laugh at that. I'm almost done, guys. In weighing in the swap, U.S. officials decided that it would help the effort to reach reconciliation with the Taliban, and which the U.S. sees as the key to more security in Afghanistan. But they acknowledged the risk. They acknowledged the risk that the deal would embolden insurgents. This whole damn thing is just a freaking joke. Republicans had pressed the point. Oh shit! I'm on the last freaking paragraph here, and it decides to refresh. You bastard! At least I know where I'm at. Yeah. Republicans pressed that point. We have just put a price on other U.S. soldiers, asked Senator Ted Cruz of Texas. I don't like that dude either, really. What does this tell terrorists? That if you capture a U.S. soldier, you can trade a soldier for 5 terrorists. So we've got the admission here from the higher-ups that yes, it was some covert stuff going on with spies, and they just didn't mention the words or the letters CIA. This whole thing is a bunch of shit, bullshit, yeah. And
then I came across this thing. It says he willingly deserted, freed POW's former platoon mates call for him to face court-martial as they reveal how he left post. Army-made comrades signed gagging orders. So I guess they weren't allowed to say anything.
Really? That's interesting. Yeah. That's real interesting right there.
Yeah, it says, Specialist Cody Bull, 25, says, Bergdahl is a deserter at best and a traitor at worst. Specialist Gerald Sutton, 31, calls the newly rescued infantryman's decision to desert his unit premeditated. Both men who served with Bergdahl in Afghanistan say he should be hauled into military court to face the music. He is not a hero. He's not a good example. Full told Mail Online. This might be kind of severe, Sutton said, but for desertion in time of war, the penalty can be up to death. Bergendahl's life has been under a microscope, with most accounts describing a soft-hearted infantryman who cared more for the Afghan people than he did for his army mission. But Full says his odd demeanor also had a more worrisome side. Bergendahl asked one military squad leader if he would be allowed to wear the face of his first Taliban kill as a mask. Now that's weird.
Whoa, man.
Yeah. That is strange.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And that thing about they had to sign gagging orders. Well, what, were the gagging orders lifted all of a sudden?
They must have been. Maybe when the CIA station was ousted.
Yeah, you know, how can the guy be a traitor and get promoted at the same time?
Right.
There's so many things here that just don't wash.
Yeah, keep going with that. Is it a long article?
Let me look. Yeah, well, not too long. I wish we could play clips, because there's a clip down below.
That's okay.
They show the reporter talking to the two guys. I'll put the link in, because it is a long article. I'll put the link into chat, and people can go in and check it out, because this just is not making any sense at all.
No, it doesn't. None. And it keeps getting convoluted as the days go by. More and more convoluted, which is exactly how these assholes operate. They need to muddy the waters as soon as possible. So we've got a guy. Oh man, I wish I could have read that entire Hastings thing. I bet you that would have shed a hell of a lot of light on what's going on right now. Which could be partially the reason why he was killed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That probably has a lot to do with it, because he probably put out the real story back then in 2010 about this. So if you want to get a real background, make sure you check out that Hastings article.
Because they're not, they're not expecting people to go and read old articles.
Oh, no. People don't even do that kind of crap. People just see what's on their TV and they don't think about anything. Their memory hole is so shallow. But on this network, all we do is connect the dots, and that's all we'll ever do. You know what I mean? So it helps. It helps create a bit of clear and accurate picture about what the hell's going on in the world.
Well, if you could get a clear and accurate picture.
Yeah, no shit. Oh my God.
You'd probably find more truth in that Hastings article than you ever will from all of these other articles.
Yeah, put together. Absolutely. So,
especially since the story changes from day to day,
It does. And now all of a sudden, there was a note that was left behind, even though maybe, I'm curious about that one now.
I know, why would they go to all this trouble for a traitor? It seems like Obama would have just sent a drone over to kill him.
Yeah, I mean, apparently the Pentagon knew where he was the entire freaking time.
Yeah. So, it stinks, and I don't know if they're putting it out there to just see how dumbed down the citizens of this country really are, that they'll believe this story that changes from day to day, hour to hour,
Absolutely. Let's see, I'm trying to scan this article here just to see, if I can just get some tips and highlights in it. Interesting.
I'm still stuck on that. How do you get promoted when you're a prisoner of war? Well, I thought to get promoted you had to do things, and a little beyond the Call of Duty or.
Yeah, well, let's see. He wasn't listed as a deserter, and so far, has it said that he was listed as a prisoner of war?
No, he wasn't even listed as a prisoner of war, I don't believe. That one article said.
See, I'm not sure. So what classification did he end up getting?
Yeah, good question. Everyone has agreed that he wandered off base. How do you wander off base in enemy territory?
Right. Yeah, anybody worth their freaking salt isn't gonna freaking do that unless they were A, paid, B, coerced, and C, working for the CIA, maybe?
It reeks of patsy, just like McVeigh.
Yes, this guy is nothing but a patsy. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And so, okay, if this guy, literally, if this guy taught the Taliban how to make bombs out of a cell phone, where the hell's the FBI? Why aren't they jumping all over this shit? That's what I'd like to know. It seems like they would be surrounding that bed right now and going, were you involved in teaching them how to make bombs? You know how they are.
Right. So is he a terrorist or is he a hero?
Right. Yeah, so this is...
Send in your vote. They'll decide by the vote. I don't know.
Yeah, decide by the vote, absolutely. Flip the freaking coin. Oh.
This is gonna be another Benghazi. We are never gonna get to the bottom of it. They are never gonna come out with what really happened.
It's always gonna be murky waters. It's always gonna be, all of this Orwellian doublespeak bullshit. They're already they were already mentioning the spies all involved and all this bullshit, so it's just more convoluted crap. And
now you watch, this is gonna fade away, and then they'll bring it up, and sometime in the future, when they need another distraction, it'll all come up to the front.
Absolutely.
You watch. Yep.
That's how it always happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what happens. It's ridiculous. And frankly, I'm sick to freaking death of it.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's just an illustration of, they can just lie to us about anything they want and manipulate the shit out of us, and they can just continue to do it and no repercussions whatsoever.
Another division. Some people are going to think he's a hero. Other people are going to think he's a traitor. So more division, more fighting amongst ourselves.
Something to argue about at the dinner table.
Mm-hmm.
With your own family.
Right. Or anyone you meet on the street, you know. And then you'll probably get the people that are going to march in favor of him, and then you're going to get the people that are going to march and say he's a traitor and needs to be court-martialed. I mean, it's the same scenario, just different names. Right. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it always works, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And then was Hillary involved in it? Well, look at that one picture with her and Obama. Obama's at the podium and she's standing there next to him, just all, you know. I mean, she had to be
smug look on her face. Yuck.
Yeah.
She's got a freaking reptilian face.
She is ugly.
Yuck. Man, she makes me sick. It's just like a freaking lizard with lipstick, man.
She's a boil on my gender.
She's the boil on this country, really, let alone gender.
You know, and why, you know, the people, I still hear people saying, well, Hillary's gonna be our next president. If there was really any journalists out there investigative, they would be bringing up all the people that the Clintons killed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but that's all. You know, and she shouldn't have been Secretary of State because of all that past, you know, all that skeletons in her closet. But you know what? The rest of those assholes have similar skeletons in their closet. So they want people with those skeletons in their closet to run shit, so.
Yeah, I know. I remember hearing it one time in Clinton in a speech. She goes, you know, they may say this or that, but I have never been in a court of law, you know, with any of these allegations. Well, no, you haven't. You killed all the witnesses that were on their way to court.
Right, exactly. You ran them off the road in the trees.
Shot them at a stop sign, you know, in the face.
Suicided the shit out of them, you know, with their own weapons.
Or crashed their airplane. I mean, they killed
people up
every
It's true. And no, they committed suicide by hitting themselves in the by
shooting yourself in the back of the head
10 times. I mean, what the hell?
And it's weird, all his security from back then are all dead.
Right.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I forget how many, 40 or 50 people that are directly, you know, on their way to court to testify against him and all. Yeah, he never went to trial. I mean, you can't go to trial if all the witnesses are dead.
Right. Yeah.
So, and yeah, she should be perfect for president then. What am I saying? Jeez. I don't know. This is so nuts. So nuts.
Yikes, man. Man, I'm like reading this. I'm reading this. Just the more details I'm getting, it just totally, it just screams CIA asset here. Oh my god. These guys are, these fellow soldiers, the guys he was with are speaking out, saying, yes, I'm angry. Josh, I'm gonna read this because it's just, I don't know, I need to read this because
go ahead.
It's relevant, damn it. I'm kind of skipping in and around this article here, and the article is called Bo Bergdahl's vanishing before capture angered his unit. Alright? So, and I'm gonna skip around in here. This guy, Joshua Cornelson, says, yes, I'm angry. A former medic in Sergeant Bergdahl's platoon, he said in an interview on Monday, arranged by Republican strategists. See, this is bullshit. This is fucking arranged by this interview was arranged by Republican strategists, which is a red flag to me right there too. Everything that we did in those days was to advance the search for Bergdahl. If we were doing some mission and there was a reliable report that Bergdahl was somewhere, our orders were that we were to quit that mission and follow that report. So they were to drop what they were doing in the field and go search for this guy. That was their top orders. And they don't do that for anybody but freaking CIA people. Sergeant Bergdahl slipped away from his outpost, the former senior officer said, possibly on foot, but more likely hiding in a contractor's vehicle. Really? He didn't walk through the gate, through a checkpoint, and there was no evidence he breached the perimeter wire and left that way, ex-officer said. Of course it was a freaking contractor's vehicle. Come on, people! Holy sheep shit. It's bullshit. Here we go. It was not until 9 a.m. roll call on June 30th that the 29 soldiers of 2nd Platoon Blackfoot Company learned that he was gone. I was woken up by my platoon leader, said Mr. Cornelson, who had gone to sleep just 3 hours before after serving a watch from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Hey, Doc, his platoon leader said, have you seen Bergdahl? Hang on, guys. Platoon members said Sergeant Bergdahl of Haley, Idaho, was known as bookish and filled with romantic notions that some found odd. Check this out, you guys. He wouldn't drink beer or eat barbecue and hang out with the other 20-year-olds. Cody Full, another member of Sergeant Bergdahl's platoon, said in an interview on Monday, also arranged by Republican strategists. He was always in his bunk. He ordered Rosetta Stone for all the languages there, learning Dari and Arabic and Pashto. That's interesting. The soldiers began a frantic search. See, right there, he was trying to learn the languages, right? With his little Rosetta Stone. He was antisocial with the rest of his platoon. It just sounds to me like this guy was a freaking plant. All the way around, up, down, and all around. And he's being used as a tool. Here we go. This is, I think we're getting a clear picture, you guys. They began a frantic search for Sergeant Bergdahl using Predator drones, Apache attack helicopters, and military tracking dogs. The most intense search operation, leaked war reports show, wound down after 8 days, well before the deaths of 6 soldiers on patrols in the Patika province in late August and early September. But complicating matters, some soldiers contend they were effectively searching for 90 days because of clear orders. If they had heard rumors from locals that Sergeant Bergdahl might be nearby, they should patrol that area. Mr. Full, then a specialist in the platoon, said that he and other platoon members grew increasingly bitter at the time they were looking for Sergeant Bergdahl. He had sent all of his belongings home. Really? He had sent, here we go, here's a key sentence here, you guys. He had sent all of his belongings home. His computer, his personal items. Said Mr. Full, now 25. He said Sergeant Bergdahl used to gaze at the mountains around them and say he wondered if he could get to China from there. Oh, nice. Other platoon members said that Sergeant Bergdahl wrote Jason Bourne-type novels. Let me read that again. Other platoon members said Sergeant Bergdahl wrote Jason Bourne-type novels in which he inserted himself as the lead character. Alright, now if that isn't a freaking CIA thing to do, a mind control victim, if that is how a mind control victim behaves, people, believe me, I know this. I mean, this guy it's very clear what's going on here, if you ask me. And this is what I've thought about the entire time. This is what I always suspect. That's my first go-to thing, is to suspect that. CIA mind control crap. And here we are. more proof of that. The anger towards Sergeant Bergdahl increased exponentially after September 4th, when they learned that 2 members of 3rd Platoon, which routinely went on tandem missions with 2nd Platoon, and who they believed were also searching for Sergeant Bergdahl, had been killed in an ambush. PFC Matthew Matinik and Lieutenant Darren Andrews, both of them friends of Mr. Cornelson, died in the ambush. A Defense Department official said it was unclear whether the 2 men were killed directly because of the search for Sergeant Bergdahl. Oh, really? If they were on a freaking mission to search for that guy, then it was directly because he was on the search for them. What the hell, man? It's unclear my ass. Some soldiers who had also contended that the Taliban, knowing the units were out searching extensively for Sergeant Bergdahl, chose July 4th, 2009 to attack another combat outpost, which was nearly overrun and several soldiers were killed. But American military officers said they saw no evidence that Taliban started the attack on the outpost because they thought it would be they would be out searching for Sergeant Bergdahl. Come on, man. Does anybody say BS to this? A second former senior military officer who was also briefed on the Bergdahl investigation said there was no direct evidence that the diversion of surveillance aircraft or troops to search for Sergeant Bergdahl encouraged the Taliban attacks or left other American troops vulnerable. This was a dangerous region in Afghanistan in the middle of the quote-unquote fighting season. This is bullshit here, people. The officer said in an email, adding that although the search, quote, could have created some opportunities for the enemy, unquote, it is difficult to establish a direct cause and effect. I'm laughing because this is so fucking absurd. And Kevin Blanch is coming up next, so fuck the fucking fuckers, you bastards. God, it pisses me off. I'm sitting here, my blood pressure's my face is all red, there's heat coming out of my head right now. I'm pissed. I'm pissed for all you vets out there, and it just enrages the shit out of me, man. A review of the database of casualties in the Afghan war suggests that Sergeant Bergdahl's critics appear to be blaming him for every American soldier. Give me a break. Critics appear to be blaming him for every American soldier killed in the Paktika province in the 4-month period following his disappearance. Well, it seems as though that could be the case. Mr. Cornelson and Mr. Full both said they wanted to see Sergeant Bergdahl court-martialed as a deserter. I'm not going to speak out on the political, but I think that now he's back, he needs to be held accountable, Mr. Full said. Mr. Cornelson echoed Mr. Full. I won't get into the politics, but now that he's back, he needs to be held 100% accountable, he said, for putting myself and 29 other people in my platoon in hell for 90 days. Rear Admiral, one more paragraph. Okay. Rear Admiral John F. Kirby, the Pentagon spokesman, said there was a larger matter at play. The American military does not leave soldiers behind. That's bullshit. When you're in the Navy and you go overboard, it doesn't matter if you were pushed, fell, or jumped. He said, we're going to turn the ship around and pick you up. What? Oh my God. Can anybody say BS? Go ahead. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Well, the more I listen to this, and all this is coming out, which didn't come out before, it's like, when you said, I'm just my blood pressure's up and everything, is this what they want?
Well, sure.
The whole reason for this? I mean, is anything that we're reading true? Is anything,
right.
They're in the military, they do what they're told, they say what they're told to say, and it makes me wonder, I mean, this is just so far-fetched.
Right, that last article I just read was out of the New York Times. So yeah, how this shit is the truth, absolutely. And it just seems like it's all freaking being placed there to make us fight each other. And
yeah, and they don't put gag orders on you and then take them off when they're ready for you to talk.
Absolutely. Yeah.
The whole thing, it just reeks of some story they made up in their heads, and they're just going to test it out and see. And like I said, put us against each other, the people that think he's a hero, the people that think he's a traitor. And, you know, it's just
like
crazy.
Edward Snowden.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly the same damn... It's the exact same playbook here.
It's separation. And I say what we should do is say, screw you and unite. Don't fall for their bullshit.
Right.
Just, you know what? We're calling your bluff. We are going to unite because we don't believe anything you say, and we know you're corrupt, and we're going to do something about it.
Right. All of a sudden, like those guys that I just read that just told that story would have fallen under those gag orders.
Mm-hmm. But now they're lifted?
Yeah.
I don't get it. Yeah. If they didn't want them to be telling anything, they would never be able to tell anything.
Exactly.
But they lifted just in time for this.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's a good freaking point there. Absolutely. I think you got it right on that. That's a fantastic point.
Yeah.
The whole damn thing just stinks to high heaven, man. I'm telling you, it
reminds me of 9/11. It's everything, divided. It's separating all of us again. You know, everything separates. Gives us one side or the other. You know, instead of looking at the real problem here, which is the government and the military and the police. Those are our enemies and are what we should all focus on every day instead of being distracted by stupid little stories. I mean, this isn't even well written.
Right. Oh, it's not. I know. Oh my God. I don't know. I think we can get off of that freaking story now.
Yeah, it's just, okay, how about this one? This one kind of freaked me out.
We only got 15 minutes.
Okay, this is a short article, but it's New York school sets up security checkpoints, bans backpacks, restricts bathroom access.
How are you going to restrict bathroom access?
Yeah, this is only a couple paragraphs long. It's in Wayne, New York. Students at a Long Island high school are being subjected to security protocols resembling those found at an airport. Upon entry, students are warrantlessly searched at security checkpoints. Students' textbooks and belongings must be carried in plastic baggies. Since backpacks have been prohibited, the lockers have been sealed and remain off limits to students. Every bathroom usage is restricted. Students are required to sign in to use one accessible bathroom in the building for each gender. The measures are topped off with a brand new high-tech surveillance system throughout campus. The dramatic security blitz is taking place at the senior high school, found 35 miles from downtown New York City, after someone scribbled graffiti in the bathrooms about blowing the school up. And they spelled it SKOOL. Administrators decided to lock the campus down like a prison. This decision will make the final 12 days of school this year quite uncomfortable for students as they prepare for year-end projects and final exams. Being forbidden to have lockers means that students have to carry their textbooks all day long in plastic bags or else leave them in their vehicles. School administrators intend to keep this security measure indefinitely.
What the hell? Now, really? Okay. They're taking their lockers away?
They're locking them up, yeah, so they can't put anything. They have to carry everything in plastic bags, so everything can be seen.
You got all these books, and you're going to carry them in a plastic freaking bag. Really? I don't think there's plastic bags big enough to carry all that shit.
And there's only 2 bathrooms in the whole building, one for girls, one for boys, and they have to get permission to use it.
Okay, and also, don't you think it's a greater security risk if you've got students, like, after each class running out to their cars to change books?
Yeah. This is crazy. And the administration intends to keep this measure indefinitely.
What? Our kids are going to prison. Oh my God. Well, if somebody wants to go make $1 million, make see-through backpacks.
Yeah, it's just like if you go visit a prison, you have, everything has to be in a plastic bag and you have to go through this. But, they get searched when they come to school. Why are parents putting up with their children
I'd be freaking the fuck out right now if my kid was going to that school. I'd be freaking out.
And now who wrote that in the bathroom? Was it, intentional so they could do this?
Right. Yeah, exactly. How is it... Well, maybe it just shows you how stupid kids really are. They don't even know how to spell school.
Oh, if the kids even wrote it. This is an excuse to get kids used to prison or obeying the rules, and not having any privacy. You can't be carrying anything without everyone being able to see it.
Well, they're gonna hire a whole new slew of child molesters, and then they're gonna start cavity searches on these kids next.
Yeah, and they say, I can remember, I don't know how many articles I've read where the administrator of any of the schools that do shit like this, they say, well, the kids feel safer because of all the security. But then you go and they interview the kids and they say it's creepy. We feel like, you always feel like somebody's watching every move you make. It's horrible.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And not only that, you've got Michelle Obama's freaking school lunch program that feeds them like a couple of breadcrumbs and a nasty ass like school Lunchable, which is, you might as well just be eating rat poison instead of that crap, because that crap is full of poison.
Well, how about when they declared pizza as a vegetable? Did you hear that?
No,
yeah,
I didn't hear
because
about
of the
that.
Tomato sauce on it and all that. Yeah, it's considered a vegetable, and therefore they can put it in their lunches. What we're doing to our kids. And then that one kid that got, because they brought a lunch from home, they took it away from them and didn't even give them money to buy a school lunch. And people, you have no control over your kids. Anything you do, if it isn't right, exactly like they want, somebody's gonna call and tell on you, and your kid's gonna be gone. And I just don't. We're in big trouble here.
Yeah, especially when we can call a pizza a vegetable. Yeah. They're redefining everything. They're redefining terms, they're redefining words, they're redefining things. And it's this sick socialist mindset.
And they're feeding our kids more and more junk. Here she's saying it's better food, but you go to any school and all it is junk, and they're feeding them hot dogs and pizza. And, I remember this one school that, they decided to forego all the junk, and they were giving them well-balanced food, fruits, vegetables, and good food, and the change in the students was remarkable. They didn't have disruption in class anymore. Kids were ready to pay attention and wanted to learn. The turnaround was... And
they know what the hell they're doing.
Yep.
They know exactly what they're doing. They know absolutely what they're doing. Without a doubt that they know. They know they want the kids dead, and they want the kids...
They want them autistic to where they can run a machine, but they can't think for themselves.
That's right. That's exactly what's going on here.
And we're allowing it to happen to our kids, just like this school. It is being run like a prison. It's going to continue to be run like a prison, so they'll feel quite comfortable when they do go to prison.
Right, oh yeah, it'll just be like, shit, I feel like I'm back at school. You know what I mean? That's pretty much it. That is pretty much it.
One little incident punishes the whole school.
Right.
And this person couldn't even spell school right, which tells you how much of a threat they are. How would they get their hands on or design a bomb or anything when they can't even spell?
It doesn't make any sense to, like, take the lockers away. I mean, it really... What...
And get permission to go to the bathroom. Raise your hand. You know, we've all been conditioned since kindergarten. Well, even me, I remember we had to raise our hand to ask to go to the bathroom. Why? You know, if it wasn't just to condition us from beginning to end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Condition us how to be slaves.
Well, luckily more and more people are waking up to it, but I don't know. I mean,
it's not happening fast enough now, is it?
And we get drawn into these little scenarios that don't make any sense at all, and we try and make sense of it, and we're wasting our time doing that when, like I said, the more important things, get our corrupt government out and get them the VA, those people that are killing our guys that went over with the thought in their heart that they were, you know, doing something for their country and their families, when they're all being betrayed, and they were betrayed from the beginning. Why not? That's what we should be upset about. And police, you know, killing someone every single day and then investigating themselves and saying it's okay. We gotta stop these things before we never really, you know, even think about other scenarios. And stop falling for it.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many problems that it's just impossible to focus on one little thing because because everything is connected. You know, it's terribly difficult to
why are we
navigate through this shit. It's so thick.
What's going on in Ukraine and all that? Okay, we spend a lot of time on that, and yes, it's important, but what about it distracts us from the horrors that the American citizens are going through right here every day?
I understand that, but to understand what's happening in Ukraine is to also understand the same players pulling the same old playbook out, and it's important to understand like how this whole thing is going to shape, like literally World War III.
Well,
understand
maybe
these
that
things.
World War III might be a blessing, man. Just get it all over with and rid the planet of all of us.
That's what they want. That's exactly
what
they're
stand up
for
against the corruption, and the corruption is just controlling our very lives. We have no freedom.
Well, that's the whole plan.
Yeah, but why don't we put a stop to the plan? If we know the plan, we should be able to stop the plan, don't you think?
Yeah.
I think. I don't know. It's just, it's so frustrating to see all this and not have a solution, not be able, you know, I mean, I'm one that when somebody tells me they have a problem, I try and find solutions for them. That's just my nature. And I see all this and I want to somehow bring everyone together to see, you know, we're being distracted and people are being killed. Innocent people are being killed every day. Our children are being drugged and they're being really killed too. They have no future. And what do? We do nothing. We say, oh, well, you know, what can we do? I don't know. Get rid of CPS. That's for one. Yeah, get rid of the DARE program, get rid of law enforcement and start over again somehow. I don't know.
I don't think the DARE program's there anymore.
Oh, it is in California. Most states have got rid of it. But now it's called MAD. But it's the same thing. Mothers Against Drunk Driving. Where'd that come from when the leader of that got busted for drunk driving?
Really?
You know? Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that. It just freaking figures. I mean, what the hell?
Empathy. We need empathy.
It's all par for the course. Don't you know you have to enjoy your enslavement?
Or just disallow it, act like it's not there. You know, I mean, every day, you know, the law enforcement is out of control, and I still read articles where these people are defending the cops because they have such a dangerous job. Excuse me, but it's more dangerous being a citizen in this country right now than it is to be a cop. Go be a cop. You're safer.
Yep.
You know, sorry guys, but it just, I just get, my heart hurts for the people in this country.
Well, it should, because we're all in that same damn spot, you know, and nobody does anything or realizes what's going on until it happens to them.
That is it. No empathy for others. You hear about it and then you just go to the next story. Somebody's dog was killed. Oh, well, you go to the next story. Somebody's child got taken away from them wrongly. Oh, well, you go to the next story.
Yeah, we haven't heard about the LDS, CPS thing that's been recently going on. Have we heard anything new about that?
Nope.
See, it's out of the media. So they'll just keep going on to the next thing, and the thing is, Dory, is that things happen on such rapid basis now. Every single day, something's happening somewhere. You kind of have to go on to the next
distract you from what, yeah.
It sucks. I mean, it sucks that has to be like that, but it's better to see how all this stuff connects in with each other. It
keeps us all separated, though.
Yeah, well, of course it does. That's what the design is for.
So we know what they're doing. We know how they're doing it. Doesn't it seem like we should be able to do something? I mean, I can see why people go, well, yeah, but what can I do? You feel helpless, even though we know all of this.
Absolutely. Well, we're trying to at least do something on UCY, and if you guys stay tuned, we're coming down to the end of the wire here. We've got somebody that tries to do something about it all the time. Coming up next here at 11 is Post Ignorance with Kevin Blanche, and he's got a lot of things to say about all this shit. So stay tuned for Kevin, okay? At 1 is The Edge with John Stokes. After him is at 3 o'clock is the Jack Blood Show. I'm looking forward to hopefully meeting him at Freedom Palooza this year. And then at 6 o'clock, guys, is the Ocelli Effect with Chuck Ocelli. Yay! So tune into Chuck's show. He rocks. And then at 8 o'clock is the Continual Condition with Jonathan and Steven. And then at 9 is On the Brink with Jeff Wefferson. And then at 10 o'clock, guys, is Primer Time with Dan and Michael. That's our resident gun show that's always so informative and totally rocks. So tune in at 10 o'clock tonight for that one, and then after that is Prepper Chicks After Dark. They are going to play the Conflicted games, and there's a new deck of cards out, I think she said. New Conflicted deck, and I can't even keep up with all these decks. They're coming out so fast.
Well, all right, guys, have a good day, and if you have a couple bucks, we can sure use them if you shop at Amazon, please go through our site.
Yep, have a good day, and continue listening to us for all the awesome programming here on UCY.
And love each other. They hate it.
Yeah, have a great day.